There is an object sitting inside the Ashmolean Museum in Oxford that shouldn't exist. Historians call it a relic. Archaeologists call it a curiosity. But if you actually read what is written on this clay prism, it is terrifying. It's called the Sumerian King List. It lists every ruler of the first human civilization. It's perfectly accurate. It lists kings we know existed. It lists dates we have verified. But then, you get to the beginning. The list says, after the kingship descended from heaven, Alulim became king. He ruled for 28,800 years. Stop and think about that. Mainstream history tells you this is just a myth. They say the Sumerians were just confused, but the Sumerians invented mathematics. They invented the wheel. They invented the court system. So why would the most precise civilization in history lie about the very first thing that ever happened to them? Unless it wasn't a lie. Let's go back 6,000 years to ancient Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq. According to evolution, humans at this time should have been simple hunter-gatherers, stone tools, basic tribes, but suddenly, in a blink of an historical eye, Sumer appears. And they don't look like a primitive tribe. They pop into existence with high-rise buildings, advanced irrigation, a complex legal system, literature, and knowledge of the solar system that we didn't rediscover until the invention of the telescope. It's like finding a Ferrari parked in a cave from the Stone Age. It doesn't fit. When you ask a modern historian, how did they do this? They say, it was a gradual process. But when you ask the Sumerians, they tell a very different story. They wrote it down on thousands of clay tablets. They didn't claim to be geniuses. They didn't take credit for their technology. They said, we didn't invent this. It was given to us. Given by the Anunnaki, the ones who came from the sky. This is where it gets uncomfortable. If you read the translation of the Epic of Atrahasis, it describes the creation of man, but it doesn't sound like a spiritual event. It sounds like a lab experiment. The texts describe the Igigi, the lesser gods, rebelling because the work on Earth was too hard. They were tired of mining, so the chief god, Enki, proposes a solution. He says, let us create a primitive worker to carry the burden. They describe mixing the essence of the gods with the clay of the earth. In 2026, we have a word for this. We don't call it magic, we call it genetic engineering. Look at human evolution. For millions of years, our brain size increased very slowly, and then, suddenly, roughly 200,000 years ago, the human brain tripled in size. The neocortex exploded. We developed speech, abstract thought, and art overnight. Biologists call this the missing link. They can't find the bridge between the primate and the human. The Sumerian tablets explain exactly where that link is. We didn't evolve, we were edited. But why? Why would an advanced civilization travel across the galaxy just to make us dig holes in the ground? What were they digging for? The tablets are specific. Gold. For centuries, we thought this meant jewelry. We thought the gods were just vain. But look at it through the lens of modern technology. Gold is not just shiny metal. It is the perfect conductor. It doesn't corrode. It reflects infrared radiation. In 2026, look at every satellite NASA launches. Look at the James Webb Telescope. Look at the visors of astronauts. They are coated in gold. It is the only material that protects against cosmic radiation. The Sumerian texts mention that the atmosphere of the Anunnaki home planet, Nibiru, was failing. They needed gold particles to repair their shield. They didn't come here for conquest. They came here for resources. And we were the workforce. The operation was successful, but then something went wrong. The human population grew too loud. We became too numerous, and Enlil, the commander, decided to wipe the slate clean. This is the story of the Great Flood. It is written in the Epic of Gilgamesh, thousands of years before the Bible was written. The details are identical. A chosen man, a boat, animals, but the Sumerian version adds a chilling detail. The flood wasn't a punishment for sin. It was population control. After the flood, the king's list changes. Suddenly, the kings don't rule for 28,000 years. They rule for 1,000, then 500, then 100. The texts say, then the gods withdrew. Whatever technology kept the early kings alive, whatever genetic purity gave them immortality, was taken away. Our DNA was downgraded. We were left to fend for ourselves. Today, we laugh at these stories. We call them myths. But ask yourself, why is the symbol of modern medicine the caduceus, a staff with two intertwined snakes? It looks exactly like the double helix of DNA, a symbol given to us by the Sumerian god Enki. The tablets end with a promise, or perhaps a threat. They say the Anunnaki didn't leave forever. They just went into a cyclical orbit, and according to the astronomical calculations left on the tablets, that orbit brings them back. We spend billions looking for aliens on Mars, looking for signals from deep space, but maybe we are looking in the wrong place. Maybe the evidence isn't out there. It's inside us, in the junk DNA that scientists still can't explain. But if the Anunnaki map of the solar system was correct, then there is another map we need to look at. A map found in 1513 that shows a landmass that was supposed to be hidden under ice. Click this video to see the evidence that Antarctica isn't what we think it is. The truth is hiding in plain sight.